Hey guys, EliFilmworks here. I'm just showing you how to do a little custom intro, just some parts to my motion number 3 custom intro. So the first thing we're going to do is we want to change the size of the screen to fit, because this is what you'll actually be seeing when you make the video, like on the screen. Next, we're gonna make our background. So we're gonna go into the shapes and click square, and we're just gonna drag it across the screen, and you'll see it turns white because we now have a white square in front of it. Change it to 12%, and we're just going to make it bigger, because when we zoom out with the camera, which I'll show you later, you're going to need a lot more background. Okay, once you've done that, you want to go into your inspector. If you want to change the colors, you can just go into I choose gradient just because I like that a little bit better. And once you've selected where you want it, just go back to fit, and this is what you have. Next, we obviously want to add in some text. So I'm just going to put down EliFilmworks. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger and center it. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go into add a camera, which is this little icon down here. It looks like a camera. Click that, and we can now see that we can click switch to 3D. You're going to want to click that, and when you click on, you're going to see these little, click on your text, and you'll see these green, blue, and red arrows. These are basically your 3D space. These are what you're really going to need. So right now in the perspective, you can see it getting bigger, and this is basically moving the words towards the camera that you just created. To see this a little bit better, we're going to click active camera on the left and click on right angle. Make sure you're back into fit mode so you're not too zoomed in. And you can see those blue arrows again, and you can also see the camera here over on the left, the yellow camera. And when you pull the arrow, this white bar indicates your background. Now, if you pull the arrow back to the right or left, it changes the words closer or farther away from the camera. Go back into active camera, and the next thing you're going to want to do is you can now pan around, and because you're in the camera mode, and you can now see the 3D space that we're working with. You can see my words, and then you can see the background we created earlier. So now, because we just noticed that we can see black space in our background, we're just gonna make our background a little bit bigger here. And let's go back into fit, which is our active camera. And let's choose, and now you can see that we can zoom around, we don't get any black space behind our background. So now what we're gonna want to do is create a shadow. And to do that, we're gonna click add a light, which is next to the camera icon. It looks like a little light. And you can just drag that out to the left so you can see it a little bit more in perspective. It shows it really well too. And bring it up, adjust where you want the light to be, what it's going to look like. And then go over in the inspector under light, make sure you clicked on light. You can click on the shadows, and it will make a shadow for you. But that's just a little bit harsh, as you can see as I move around the shadow on the background. The shadow's a little, a little sharp, so we're just gonna under shadows change the softness up. You can kind of mess around with it, see what you like. I usually keep it at about 40-ish, 41-ish. I just think that looks a little bit better. So now that we have our shadow where we want it, we can adjust our camera angle to where we're gonna want to start. We're gonna do keyframing here in a second. So as you see where you move the light, the shadow also moves with it because the light source is changing. Now I'm going to show you how I added in those lines in motion intro number 3 that I have on my channel. These lines are called calligraphic lines, and you can find them in your library, and just click on all and scroll down to the C's, and you can see up here on the top left that it has the lines that I was using. Very easy, just pre-made. Now what you want to do is just drag that into your timeline. And you won't see anything right now, but that's just because when you click play, they'll start to generate, as you can see right now. And to make a few of them, just copy paste the normal thing. Command C, Command V, and there you go. You have your second copy down in the timeline. You can move that around, whatever. Drag it over to the beginning, and there you go. Now, if you want to change where those are in 3D space, we can just click on our active camera, go to the right view, and you can, as you can see, we can adjust where they are in 3D space. You can see our background there. So, as you can see, we can drag them in front of our letters if you want to get a little bit more into it. Okay, now we're going to work on keyframing our video. So that, by this, I mean the camera is going to move around on our digital camera we made is going to move on around our screen. So what you want to do is find the starting point with your dolly option, which is on their top right, and your dolly and your orbit option. And you can just click the record button right here and move your camera. Move your camera a little bit so it makes your first keyframe point. And then just move your timeline. Move the little timeline bar to where you want it to end, and then just move your orbit or your pan or your dolly or whatever you decide to use for it around the screen and click where you want it to end. So maybe I want it to end right about here. Seems about right to me. Then we're just going to stop recording. So click the record button again. And if we go back to the beginning of our timeline and we click play, you can notice that our camera is moving to where we keyframed it. So it's just that easy. And basically, this is how I created my motion intro number 3. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask, send me a message, comment, whatever. So this was, yeah, thanks.